Princess Mia's impulsive kick at a tree triggered an ambush in the forest, narrowly avoided thanks to Captain Dion's swift swordsmanship. Though angry, Dion follows Mia's bluff and orders the full army to escort her, unknowingly helping her defuse rising tensions with the Lulu tribe. Later, Mia realized she lost her precious unicorn hairpin in the forest and asked Dion to help retrieve it. Surprised by her sincerity, Dion agrees. Meanwhile, Mia's advisor Ludwig saw Dion's potential and recruited him into Mia's cause. This marked the beginning of a key alliance, revealing that behind Mia's clumsy exterior lies sharp political instinct and growing influence.
Silence Forest is the home to the secluded Lulu tribe. Their settlement, which is home to nearly 200 people, is known to be a stage of a tragedy in the previous timeline. Muddled whispers pass from ear to ear lamenting a village destroyed by the selfishness of Her Highness. What the rumors failed to convey, however, was the sheer brutality of the massacre that had taken place. The Imperial Army suffered massive casualties against the great archers of the Lulu tribe. Soon after a large army was dispatched to quell the unrest for good, they burned down the entire forest and slaughtered the entire tribe once and for all. The only survivors of the Lulu tribe were those who migrated for work before the events happened. These survivors throughout the empire threw themselves into the revolutionary army with anger directed against the imperial family. They were deadly sharpshooters to which many imperial soldiers lost their lives. Lulu village would be remembered as the bloody land from which bitter hate was sown and a desire for vengeance would bloom. But that was then. At the present moment, at least for the time being, everything was quiet on the Lulu end. Nevertheless, the veteran warriors of the tribe knew that this wouldn't last forever. They could feel the tension thicken in the air. It was a tenuous peace, the calm before the storm. The stifling silence was ultimately broken by a message from a frontline scout.
The army is gone.
The Imperial soldiers retreated?
It's a trap. They're trying to lure us out. I also thought of that possibility. But then again, they left behind their tents and food supplies untouched. I think it's a bit bizarre.
The scout was not a clueless young man. He was a man who was entrusted to bring in the first report once a war would break out. Any foolish attempts of ambush would not escape the notice of this reliable sentry. In any case, we will hold our ground until we know more. The chieftain folded his arm and stroked his long beard. Then he said seriously to the young girl who was standing by his side, "I'm sorry that you came all the way here. I wanted you to pass the outcome's message to the commander of the Imperial Army, but... I don't mind. If it's our clan's crisis, it's natural for me to rush. I was thinking of asking Miss Tiona to talk to someone higher up to mediate the situation." Asking higher-ups? That might be an option depending on the situation. Sadly, Aulancan Rudolphan, it's a rare exception. There aren't a lot of nobles noble enough to be willing to help us. At the end of the day, the Lulus were only a small tribe residing in a section of the forest near the border. There is no reason for the nobility to bother helping them. The chieftain shook his head. He had lived long enough to know how the gentry view them. However, "You're being too pessimistic, Chief. There are good, respectable nobles too. Besides..."
Chief! A girl who came into the forest dropped this."
"What is this hairpin?" The moment he saw what the sentry was holding in his hand, a deep wrinkle carved between the chieftain's eyebrows.
"Why is this happening?"
On top of a shaking horse, Mia was stiff as a board. Riding at nights is dangerous, so Mia is currently riding with Dion. So, it's just her, Dion, and the great outdoors, which was absolutely terrifying. He also told her to hold on tight, but she didn't know where or what to hold on to. She was scared of holding the wrong place and making him angry. So the only thing she could think of doing is freeze and hope she didn't fall off.
"We'll stop by the camp, Your Highness." "The camp? Why?" "Because we need to get some torches." "Did you mean to look for something in the forest at night without a light?" "You know, Your Highness, your acting is getting sloppy. You have to work on the missing details." "Acting? Huh? Missing details? What on the moons is he talking about? Your whole story is so amateur. Sure, it may fool my vice captain, but looking for something in the middle of the night? Who would do that?" And if you want to go with that story, at least stick with the details to make it believable. Like, how are we going to find anything without torches?
With that said, Dion turned around over his shoulder.
You can drop the act now. The truth is you're going to meet the tribe chieftain directly to talk, aren't you? Eh? Oh, am I wrong? Considering you so graciously interrupted my plans to sit back and relax with a good cup of wine after a rather taxing day and pulled me all the way out here, I thought I could expect at least that much from you. Hmm?
Suddenly, Mia felt pressure rising and emanating from him. Something cold and frosty started running down her spine, and she rushed to answer.
Of course. You're right, of course. That is why I need your cooperation. Good, it's just as I thought. You're an interesting one, Your Highness. Well, I don't know what you're going to do, but rest assured, I'll accompany you even to the depths of hell.
She looked at him, and the expression on his face made her realize something. It was one of those realizations that really should have come earlier, but was nevertheless better late than never.
Wait a second, this is bad. Am I in trouble?
She remembered scenes from her previous life. The man in front of her was the man who ended her in the previous timeline.
What in the bloody moons did I just put myself into?
Honestly, she dropped the ball. That was it. Plain and simple. She thought that after pulling the soldiers out, then everything was going to be solved. Going to look for the hairpin was nothing more than a precaution. It seems her relief dulled her senses, exposing herself to danger once again.
I know what this is. This is like when the appetizer is really tasty and you eat too much of it that you miss the whole point of the meal, which is of course the delicious dessert. And you can't eat the dessert anymore because you're too full. Yeah, no, focus. This is not the time to come up with such poetic metaphors.
It was, of course, neither poetic nor a metaphor, but its disconvoluted nature was actually a decent analogy for the confused state of her mind.
It's really dark, isn't it?
The Selens forest was surrounded by darkness, submerged in the night. Dion was holding a torch in front of Mia, and though the torch was burning brightly, it seemed to illuminate only a small circle around them. The forest did not look anything like in the daytime. The way the forest seemed to have morphed into a different world left her on edge, which meant that any sudden noises,
Your Highness, eek,
such as someone speaking to her, was enough to scare the living moons out of her.
What is it? Nothing much. It's just that we have arrived at the place where you were attacked during the day. Oh, I see. Okay then. Are you sure this is the place? Very sure. Look, there are arrow marks on the tree.
She looked at the direction Dion was pointing. There definitely seemed to be marks made by arrows, but
I can't really tell for sure. And how am I supposed to find that hairpin in this darkness?
the realization had come far too late. If she tells Dion that they should just go home, she would be lucky if Dion would only get angry at her. After all, this was the man who introduced her to Guillotine-kun. Anything that might anger him was a big no-no. Just as she started scanning the ground in an attempt to find her hairpin, she heard Dion's voice.
Your Highness, it looks like things will go as you planned. Pardon? Enough hiding. If you've got the nerve to watch us, then show yourselves. Now.
Dion said while pointing the torch towards a bush. The bushes shook, and mean-looking men appeared. These men wrapped their muscular bodies with beast pelts.
They are from the Lulu tribe. Perhaps there are people who are related to Lyora. Since you do not welcome us with a flurry of arrows, I assume you are not here to fight, right? Impressive. Leader of the Empire's warriors. Good insight.
The warriors parted to make way for an older man to come forward from the back. This man had an impressive gray beard. The man fixed a scrutinizing gaze at Dion. Then his gaze fell on Mia. Girl, you are a person who come here in day, yes? Mia was taken aback when the conversation suddenly involved her. She figured that it would do her no good to lie.
That's right, I was...
Girl, where you get this?
Oh, that's my...
Answer me! Where you get this? I warn you, say wrong thing, and I will...
Alright, that's enough. Watch your tone, old man. You're talking to the Princess of the Empire. I suggest you start minding your manners. Also, I'm technically responsible for her safety, so... I might also have to warn you myself. Say something wrong, and I'm gonna have to stop playing nice.
You... Tension rose to the point that sparks could be seen between the two. A dangerous situation could erupt at any moment. Meanwhile, Mia started shaking.
Oh, this is sublime. What a pleasure. What bliss.
From absolute delight, that is. She was having a moment. She was so fascinated by the current situation that she could almost cry. After all, who could blame her? Dion was the man who finished her in the previous timeline. This means he is one of her greatest enemies, if not the greatest enemy. And such a person is trying to protect her. Really, this situation was just too much.
Oh ho ho ho! This is it! I know this feeling! It is the same feeling I had when I blew that Four Eyes mind! So refreshing!
Just when her suppressed laughter was about to vocalize...
By the way, Your Highness, I assume this is still part of your plan? Eh?
She felt like she was just splashed with cold water.
Well, assuming you've already planned for a situation like this, I would very much appreciate it if you could give me instructions on whether I can kill them or not. Should I engage or withdraw?
Dion said this with his signature smile. By now, Mia has figured out that when Dion gives out this kind of smile, it means that you better know what you're doing or else. Mia turned blue.
Okay, this is not the time to be feeling good. I have to do something.
She thought and thought, but having come here without the slightest semblance of a plan, nothing came to mind. What's more, for some reason, there is a Lulu man in front of her who looks very angry. It seems difficult to resolve the situation without blood being shed. Moreover, Dion wasn't really an ally she can count on. He is neither a friend nor a subordinate who has sworn allegiance to her. His assistance is only conditional, and right now, he even has an enemy-like atmosphere.
Which means... merciful moons! That means there is nobody on my side.
Mia started to tear up. She had just fully realized that she was all alone. She had no Ludwig, or Anne, or any friends to support her or help her out of this mess.
I have to think of something fast.
Wait, I said wait.
Oh? Who might that be? Leora-san.
Mia-sama, it's an honor.
Why are you in a place like this? Actually, never mind. Can you tell me why this gentleman seems to be very upset?
Of course. Well, he is chief of Lulu's. And when young, I give this to wife. When wife die, give to daughter.
Your daughter? I see. It's hard for me to say this, but unfortunately your daughter is no longer with us.
Daughter gone?
It's probably your grandson that gave this hairpin to me.
Do tell more. Mia told her the story to a silent, attentive audience. Even after she finished, no one spoke. The Lulus traded glances, each trying to assess the truth of the story through the expressions on each other's faces. Eventually, Leora broke the silence. Chief, Mia-sama is not one to lie. What she said is true to the Mia-sama I know.
Look, it may not matter to you, but the reason we pulled back our army was because of a crafty move from Her Highness the Princess. Lies! Girl kick. Our tree. Girl no respect, forest. The army needs a good reason to withdraw. I think your chief understands this, even if foot soldiers like you don't.
I understand, but believing your words, difficult. It was here that Mia saw a chance to nudge the conversation in the direction she wanted, creating an excuse for her to get the heck out of there. So she obviously jumped on the opportunity.
That's true. Then I will send the boy to come back here. Besides, I don't think it would be good for him to stay in the slums as it is. I'll arrange it soon. You can make up your mind when you see him.
With that said, Mia found the perfect excuse to leave the forest. She managed barely 3 steps before she heard Dion's interrogative voice behind her.
Hold on there, Your Highness. Surely you don't mean for this to be the end of negotiations? Eh? I'm still waiting to see your master plan unfold to put an end to this conflict in this forest.
Once more, he gave her that classic Dion smile. And once more, the color drained from her face.
Oh, of course. How terribly convenient that Leora is here to represent Count Rudovan. Let's hear what she has to say.
Mia was desperately grasping at straws. She had no clue what she should be doing now, and was on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
Yes, We should listen to what she has to say. Then each one can speak as well. Yes, that's exactly what we should do.
After hearing everyone speak their minds, Mia was finally allowed to leave. But just when she was about to go, the chieftain approached her by himself. Princess Sama, I ask forgiveness.
Oh, I thought you did not believe me?
Before, others are there. In front of others. Me, chief. You enter enemy lands. Only one guard. You brave. Courageous. No liar. Thank you. You care for grandson. Forgive rude words to you. The chieftain bowed deeply at the waist. His long gray beard dangled freely down from his chin. The Lulu tribe were prideful people. Those who were rude to them will be met with rudeness in kind. Violence will be met with violence, even if they're nobles. Mia, however, was a benefactor, caring for one of their tribesmen. Even more, she is the princess of the great Tearmoon Empire. She could have wiped them off from the map if she wanted to. Instead, she approached them in good faith, sincerity, and respect. They had to return her kindness with equal amounts of respect. Their pride would not let them do anything less. So, even if he was just a chieftain in private, he was willing to bow down before Mia and apologize.
You don't need to apologize. After all, it was me who kicked the tree in your forest, even though I knew you treated it as a treasure. So how about we call it even?
Mia gave the chieftain a smile that seems to say that there are more important things to worry about than pride and respect.
More importantly, once your grandson comes, please treasure him and welcome him with open arms.
His jaw tightened. In that last sentence, he understood exactly what Mia was trying to say, and it hit him with the force of a hammer, sending him on a quick mental journey back through his life. He saw his younger self bound from head to toe by the heavy chain of his pride and stubbornness as a chieftain. He saw how it weighted him down, roughened his disposition, and put him at odds with his daughter. There was fighting, there were tears. His daughter ran away and died in a foreign place without even reconciling with him. Then, only the long, unwaning regret over a fractured relationship that could never be mended was left. He looked at the young princess in the eye and heard her unspoken words. Don't make the same mistake with your grandson. He understood her. He pressed his lips and clenched his jaw to stop tears from forming. The princess, in all her wisdom, saw through him and gave him honest, wise advice. His very soul trembled at the vast empathy of the young girl before him. Princess Sama, I treasure kind words. I forever grateful to you. Of course, as you almost know by now, Mia didn't say those words because of her boundless empathy or her extraordinary compassion. Her words came from a very different place.
If that child is the grandson of the chief of the Lulu tribe, it would be problematic to leave him in an orphanage.
Although things had improved a little, the slums were still the slums. One could not guess what might happen in a place like that. And if indeed something were to happen to that little boy, then the Lulus from all over the place might really raise an absolute hell. Better to pluck out any buds of danger before they sprout into an actual trouble.
The best solution is for that child to return to this forest. To do that, I have to get the chieftain to accept him kindly and treat him well so that he would not want to go back to the orphanage.
She was indeed sticking true to her motto of Mia first. It was just sad that not a single person realized the true motives behind Mia's compassion. By the time Mia left the forest and arrived back at the manor, the morning sun had already cleared the horizon. What followed was a whirlwind of activities. She gathered her things, organized her men, and gave orders to quickly depart for the capital, all while pointedly ignoring the questions of a bewildered Viscount Berman. When the concerned guards told her to rest first, she claimed she would have plenty of time to sleep in the carriage on the way back.
Speed is the essence of war, huh? It seems that not only soldiers but also the wise value time. Princess Mia, ever the tactician.
After showing up to the game, playing her cards, and setting the stage, she left the table. She was able to identify that her work here was done, and now her fight lay elsewhere. Her actions were guided by an acute awareness of where she was most needed and what was most required of her. And that was Dion's logic.
All according to plan, huh? But for a mastermind, she sure squeals a lot. Well, I suppose it is all part of keeping the act. The child that she rescued in the slums just happened to be the chieftain's grandson.
Sure, the meeting between Mia and that child might have been a coincidence, but what were the chances of the kid being the grandson of the chief? Well, he doubted she would know when she first helped the boy. By the time she was heading to this place, Dion was sure she had done some preemptive digging to know everything. Viscount Berman, the Lulus, heck, even him were all dancing in the palm of her hands.
So that was the great wisdom of the Empire.
Ludwig's words echoed in his mind.
I really don't want to get involved in politics or get a promotion, but if it is for that princess, it might be worth trying.
The cruel irony of Dion's motivation for joining Mia's cause was, of course, lost on him. After all, Mia doesn't even know what speed is the essence of war means. Her current actions are all motivated by one thing: safety. She wanted to get away from the danger zone. That forest with the Lulu tribe and her executioner, him. The only thing that had been on her mind as she was escaping was,
I need to get away from here with that Lulu conflict and him. This place can kill me 100 times over.
Upon reaching the capital, Mia's first order of business was to have the child from the Tearmoon district orphanage be sent home to the Silent Forest. She even handpicked the best of her men as escorts to make sure that there would be no trouble. As she rushed to get things done, she was officially summoned by her father, the Emperor, to the audience chamber.
An official summons from Dad? In the audience chamber of all places. I wonder what he wants this time.
The imperial family of the Tearmoon Empire was very close. While in some countries, hierarchies are absolute that even immediate family has to request a formal audience in order to see them, this was not the case in the Tearmoon Empire. If anything, Mia was at an age where she wished that her father would stop trying to see her every time he has available. Because of this, being officially called to the audience chamber was extremely unusual, which piqued her curiosity. Upon seeing the people gather at the audience chamber, the reason became clear. In addition to her father, the Emperor, and her trusted aide Ludwig, there was a third figure who was arguably the most central character of events that had recently transpired: Viscount Berman. Oh, my beloved daughter Mia.
Your Majesty, it is a pleasure to see you. I'm here according to your summons.
She gracefully held her skirt and curtsied, which caused the Emperor to launch into a fierce tirade. No, don't say Your Majesty. I told you not to call me that. It feels so lonely and distant. Call me father like usual, or Dad. Yes, call me that. What about Papa? Papa seems to be the best option. Call me Papa.
You wish to speak with me, father?
The Emperor dropped his shoulders upon hearing his daughter's reply. In case it wasn't clear from the exchange, he was a man of a most troublesome disposition. Well, I suppose being called father is okay. More than that, Mia, I called you today because I wanted to hear about your visit to Viscount Berman's territory the other day.
Well, no surprise there. I thought as much.
She shot a glance at Berman. He was clearly petrified and his face was blue. While he was indeed part of the nobility, his territory is near the border, making him, even if he would never admit it of course, a country bumpkin in the eyes of his fellow nobles. The number of times in his life he would be granted an audience with the hollow ruler of Tearmoon, he could count on one hand and would have fingers to spare. The fact that he would find himself pale in this situation is by all means understandable.
I might as well get this over with while he is off in La La Land.
And so, Mia's rare calculating side started working. Not for long though. I heard that you went to a very dangerous zone of the Viscount's territory. When I heard it, I almost passed out from the shock.
Is that so? There was actually nothing dangerous there.
Mia said with an air of nonchalance. The tone was really important. If she says something bad, then her father might really just raze the entire forest to the ground. And knowing her father, it is within the realm of his possibilities.
With all due respect, Your Majesty, Her Highness failed to mention that she has withdrawn all the troops that were stationed near the forest. Surely something must have happened. What an annoying blabbermouth.
Her eye twitched once in irritation, but she kept her composure. She gave Berman a calm, dismissive look before shaking her head.
Ah, Viscount. I suppose I must swallow my pride and tell the truth. It was an embarrassing story. I tripped over a tree and became thoroughly flustered. I'm ashamed to admit it, but that's the truth of the matter.
What? A mere tree there to trap my beloved daughter? I'll give an order to the army right away to burn down the entire—
Father, please calm yourself. I have arranged for that tree to be cut down and make it into my hairpin, so there is nothing for you to worry about.
Mia showed the Emperor her most endearing smile before moving her gaze to Berman.
Speaking of which, Father, I have grown rather fond of that forest, so please, Dad, will you add that forest as part of my domain officially?
All those previous years acting as a spoiled princess finally came to fruition, as Mia cowed her father in a boy's lace with honey like a child asking for a stuffed animal. Really? Is it such a great place?
Yes, it's a beautiful forest, and I thought it would be a good place to visit for vacation.
I see. Well, if that's the case, as Ludwig watched the exchange unfold from the sidelines, he couldn't help but feel disappointed. I can't believe Her Highness is handling it like this. Certainly, if Mia puts the forest under her direct control, Selen's forest will be saved. The conflict with the Lulu tribe will also be resolved, but in return, they will earn a grudge from Viscount Berman. Viscount Berman was a man of little value in the eyes of Ludwig. If anything, he looks like the kind of rash, frivolous person with whom association was best avoided. Nevertheless, he is still a noble, and he has been entrusted to rule a particular piece of land. The reforms that Mia is trying to do, in Ludwig's minds at least, will inevitably require the cooperation of many nobles. It has been decided that it is better not to earn unnecessary grudges as much as possible. Any new enemy made is a potential ally lost. Given the scale of her supposed ambitions, she could not afford to push too many people away. Or maybe Mia decided that the issue with the Lulu tribe is something that should be set right, even if it means earning grudges. It would be justice, and it would be the right thing to do. It is an act that is commendable for a princess. Still, I thought that if it was her, because it was just not anyone, but her, that she would be able to present a better solution. There should be a way to solve this problem without hurting her cause. Has my devotion blinded me to her limits? Am I making her out to be more than she actually is? Was I wrong to put faith in her potential? Yes, and yes. Ludwig has gone too far into his own delusions that he's now starting to feel disappointed in his own delusions. He is suffering from terminal stage Mia-itis. Normal delusions were not cutting it anymore. He was now putting delusions into his delusions, and that was just too far down the rabbit hole even for a master of self-deception such as him. The good thing about this is that he is now on the verge of coming to terms with reality again. The shock of disappointment was about to finally knock the rose-tinted glasses off his face and expose the Mia cult for the sham it really was. He was mere moments away from coming face to face with the cold, merciless truth that Mia was neither wise nor a saint, but only a princess, and a rather pea-brained and chicken-hearted one at that. He was so close. The fog of his mind was clearing just when he was about to have this epiphany. In that case, Viscount Berman, I want you to build a castle for Princess Mia beside that forest. No, not just a castle. Build a town and call it Princess Town. The words of the Emperor registers into Ludwig's head, stopping him from reaching the truth about the princess. As he thought about the implications of the Emperor's orders, damn it all, that's just adding oil to the fire. Not only was his territory going to be reduced, but he now had to build a town and a castle. Yes, I get that ordering him to do it means the Empire won't have to waste its own money. But come on, if the man is not upset already, he will be further antagonized. Ludwig rubbed wearily on his temples. Then he looked at Berman's expression.
Your Majesty, goodness,
Ludwig was confused. The Viscount was clearly trembling, but it wasn't because of anger, but rather from excitement. In fact, it seems that he was close to being moved to tears. What in the moons is happening now? He racked his brains trying to comprehend the baffling scene unfolding before him. Then it happened. He had an epiphany, albeit a different one than the one discussed before, and it shook him to the core. Did she just... Holy moons, I get it now. No way. But if that's so, then... Had they been dealing with the merchant, then Mia's decision would have incurred a great deal of ill will. After all, she is using her imperial power to requisition assets. It was an order that he cannot disobey, whether he likes it or not. The difference, and what crucial difference indeed, was that they were dealing with Viscount Berman, who was not a merchant, but a noble. And like every noble, he values reputation above everything else. Mia did not want to make Berman an enemy. Instead, Mia has completely grasped the personality of Viscount Berman. She offered him what he wanted the most: glory. Why did Viscount Berman start making trouble in the first place? It was because he felt slighted that he had to be compared with Outcon Rudelban. Mia recognized what Berman really was thirsting for. So, she gave him the honor of having a special territory of the princess within his domain. And he gave him the honor of constructing the town and castle for the princess to boast with other nobles. For them, this was an honor beyond measure. After all, if that forest becomes Mia's territory, of course, the emperor will have more opportunities to visit his territory. That honor is irreplaceable for the aristocrats. Am I seeing this right? Did Her Highness just establish a permanent protection to the forest at absolutely no cost to herself? In addition, by building the princess town beside the forest, she is preparing a wave of prosperity for the Lulu tribe. It will serve as an apology for the troubles they encountered lately, but it will be up to them to take advantage of the current situation. Having the princess town nearby will make the logistic easier. The flow of goods will surely improve in their lands. But most importantly, all of this would be accomplished with Berman's gratitude instead of his resentment. Had it been me, I would have disposed of Viscount Berman through a political plot. Had it been Captain Dion, he would most probably eliminate the Viscount through some bloody means. However, neither of these options were the best. Nobles were not just figureheads. They were functional rulers of their lands. They served a pragmatic purpose and were each a crucial cog in the complex machinery that was the empire. A faulty gear needs to be fixed, but to entirely remove it would affect the entire framework. Doing so will only lead to confusion. No matter how quickly a replacement can be placed, it would create unavoidable harm to the people who live there. A change of ruler would cast a shadow of uncertainty over the land, damaging productivity and stability. How can Mia avoid this from happening? Easy. Don't replace the ruler. Make him work for her instead. And that's exactly what she did. She made it look so easy. And if doing it was as easy as saying it, this probably isn't even the end of it. I bet her next move is ready. She has probably already considered how she can make it up to Outcon Rudelban as well. To his utter misfortune, Ludwig's terminal delusions were proven right the week after, robbing him of any chance of recovering from his terminal stage Mia-itis when a letter from Tiona, the daughter of Outcon Rudelban, was delivered to Mia's room.
This is it for this video. We will continue with the story of the Guillotine Princess in the next episode. This was Brian and Marco from Jobless Weaves. Matane!